Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon indeed. Today we're talking about wide format printing. Get into wide format printing. What can you get from a visit to a show such as this and how you should do it. And I have two real big industry heavy hitters as my guests today. My first started his career with Roland DG UK, and he's now the Chief Operations Officer for Hybrid Services, looking out for the Mimaki brand. So please welcome Mr. Brett Newman.
Hi, Colin.
Hello, mate. Have a seat. Thanks for coming on, Brett.
No problem.
Good to see you. So we're talking about wide format printing, and this is a kind of a general chat about it. It's like, up until now we've been talking about applications and specific vehicle wrapping and surface graphics. But this show is really to actually give the viewer something to really guide them when they first start. I mean, nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks I'll be a sign maker, do they? But you may have a business or something, and it's about where do we go. So what would you actually be your advice to somebody that has woken up this morning and said, I'm going to go to the Sign and Digital show and see what I can learn?
Well, first of all, that's the right decision, because if anybody's going to look at getting into wide format, visiting an event like this really must be the first thing on the agenda for them to do. And whilst, yes, people will come to this show, they'll look to buy new kit, etc., actually this show is in the main about education. All the different technologies are here on demonstration at the show, whatever print technology that may be, for whatever output it is. And this exhibition hall is full of knowledgeable people. So somebody can come, they can spend the day in the number of the education seminars that are there. They can talk to the people on the stand and ask them about the output, the applications that the technology can produce. And they should come to an event like this, spend time and take advantage of the skill and knowledge that's in this exhibition hall.
Well, there's a ton of it here, isn't there?
It's a fantastic base to do the research from. And yes, you can do the research on the internet, you can watch all the videos on YouTube, but to come and actually talk with people and ask the questions that you don't want to ask, and find a route for it, and then talk to people about the output, the applications, and somebody may have a particular need because that desire to create the business comes out of a need, a business opportunity. And come do the research, find the educational programs, and that's where really you should start at an event like this. Yeah,
I mean, it's quite, if you're a first timer, I'd imagine a lot of what we see around us here to be a little bit daunting. You know?
Absolutely. You know, it's overwhelming. Yeah. It's input overload.
Yeah.
And you know, there's, as we said earlier, there's all the technologies are here under one roof, and every technology has got its place. And you know, every technology has its strengths and can operate for different applications in better than others.
Yeah.
And really, you know, we're not getting down into the depths of technology in this conversation, but from an end user's point of view, I think it's important to talk to people about the technology, what it's done for them, and actually stop someone in the aisle. Ask them if they're a printer, ask them why they bought the printer, ask them what they produce.
Yeah.
Don't just talk to the people on the stands.
Yeah.
Go and have a cup of coffee with somebody and ask the guy on the next table what he's using and how he got into the business and why he made his buying decision into it. And many people come into wide format, shall we say, from adjacent technologies, from a commercial printer, an offset, or that kind of printer that moves into wide format, and they're looking to diversify. They already have customers buying it. They already have the skill of colour management and that knowledge. So actually, for many people, it's an easy sideways step.
Okay, so if you're an existing printing business of
Yeah.
some description, whether or not you've got cut sheet digital production or lithography, moving into wide format would be a very simple task, yeah?
Absolutely. You know, in a world when everybody's feeling that the margins are being squeezed and
Well, they are.
in that arena, looking at having a different output to offer to the same customer, selling more to the same customer, but also at the same time being able to generate new customers and bring in new revenues. And if anybody saw the discussion that I took part on earlier today,
Right.
where we talked about the trend of personalisation, and that people want things that reflect their personality. They want to buy things that reminds them of events, that technically buying emotions. And once you personalise something, put an emotion around an object that stimulates a memory, then the price reflects it. And you know, in the past, people have come to these events. They've seen it as output that's predominantly outdoors. They see vehicle wrapping, etc. And for many people that are doing cut sheet digital, they think that that's a skill that they don't have in the business, and they perhaps don't want to go down that route.
Yeah, the practical skills.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's lots of things that they can produce with the skill that they've got, as well as taking again the opportunity to look at some education and training programs that are here to learn those practical skills. But also we see the trend from personalisation of interior decor.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that now, if you want that beautiful picture of your holiday scene in Portugal, you can have it now on your dining room wall. So the indoor, the architectural stuff, both for personal homes, but for hotels, for restaurants, and really using print to make a difference.
Right.
And using print in well as personalisation, you know, the term often used as visual communication, that actually you're telling a message from the imagery that you're putting out there.
Yeah, yeah. Because you know, if you've got an existing print business, you're not just going to suddenly walk into, you know, doing retail, you know, display shop fitting or anything like that, are you? That's probably a bridge too far for the beginner, the novice.
But if you've got an existing print business,
Yeah.
I think the first thing is talk to the customer, understand what your customer's buying.
Right.
And chances are that they're already buying it, they're just not buying it from you.
Yeah, that's important to remember.
So the more services that you can offer your existing customer, the better.
Right.
It's customer retention, that you're working with that customer, that you keep the customer in the loyalty loop, they keep coming back to you, you're providing a good service, you're charging a fair price, you're happy, you're making a profit, and everybody then is progressing in business. You're making a profit, your customer's happy with your output, they're using it in their business, and making a profit, or indeed using it in their home and happy with it and prepared to pay the price for it.
So what, you know, with Hybrid Services now, which is the exclusive UK and Ireland distributor for Mamaki, what are you doing at Hybrid in terms of working with the market and these sorts of potential customers?
Well, if anybody visits the Hybrid stand, they will see that there's people on there with the skill and the knowledge that they can have the conversation with, as we talked about. But also just adjacent to the Hybrid stand is the textile workshop.
All right, yeah.
So where somebody can go through the whole process. So they can take an image that they've brought on the mobile phone.
Yeah.
They can use that image, or indeed use to pick an image from our library. They can print it with a sublimation print. They can press it and create an object. So whether that be a bag, a mouse mat, or various other things that we've got there, we can guide them through the printing process and the production process till they've got a finished article, and the finished article that they can sell. So we can demonstrate how easy it is. The idea being to demystify the process, So somebody coming in that has never done it before can spend 15 minutes with us, and within 15 minutes they've got a great overview of the total process from creation, from design to production, and to a finished output, and a sellable piece of work.
Well, Joe was over on the hybrid stand earlier, so let's take a look at that clip, shall we?
Okay.
I'm here at Hybrid and I'm joined by John, who is going to take us through the printers here on the stand. John, tell me all about this printer that's in front of me. Don't you worry, you're fine, go for it.
This one, okay, this is the Mimaki, the new Mimaki UCJV 301.6 machine. It's the latest addition to a wide family of printers from Mimaki, well known for innovation, and so much the case with this new device. This machine uses a UV ink, which is basically cold cure, and it's a surface type printer, which means that it can print to almost any roll type material. So not only just banners and vinyls, it will print onto fluorescents, metallic materials, opening up a whole raft of opportunities for the graphic professional.
So incredibly versatile and really something that the customers that come here to the show are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Digital printers have been around for a long time. So we find that our customers are finding they're wanting new ways to add business revenue streams to their business. And I would probably say, I'm going to stick my neck on the line, this is probably one of the most versatile printers in the show. In fact, on this planet, it really is. It's a great machine.
Wow, John, that's a big statement. Let's go to a wide and have a look at this incredibly versatile best printer on the planet. Ta-da!
Versatility.
Well, we also have a lot of very passionate people on our stand, as you can
well,
see.
John's one of them, we know. Yeah.
But again, John's one of the people that many people know him. He's been in the industry 30 years. We have that experience on the stand. He talked about the versatility of the printer, and I think that's important. That for somebody buying the first printer, they need the versatility. There's lots of different technologies out there, and if we went back before digital print technology, when the sign industry, when it was the guy with his paintbrushes.
All right.
He would have a range of paintbrushes. He would have a brush for different jobs, but he would always have his favourite brush that he used for 90% of the time. And that's the same with digital printers. When you're making signs and you're making output, and for graphic producers, you want something that can do as much as the work as possible. And versatility in the printer that you buy is key.
Okay, well that's interesting. So what I'd like to do now is actually introduce my second guest for the day. When I said he's a big hitter in the wide format industry, well I think that's true to say. He's the head of large format graphics for HP throughout the Europe and Africa. It's Mike Horston. Please welcome Mike. Great to see you. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Colin.
So we're talking about wide format, and we're talking about versatility and what people coming to the show might expect, and applications and things. But I think you'll agree it is a daunting prospect, isn't it, when you're first looking at where can I earn some money?
I think that Brett explained it extremely well. Walking on a show like that and looking at all the equipment, all the kit and all the stuff around, it is confusing.
Yeah.
It's confusing. Just walking on a show like this is going to make you totally unhappy because you cannot make it a choice.
Yeah.
You can't make a choice of technology, of size. Do I need flatbed? Do I need roll to roll? Do I need a machine that can put stuff on a plate? Or it's just daunting.
Yeah.
My suggestion is always in this case is first look at what kind of business you want to start. If you want to start a business, if you have a business, what are you doing today? What is your strength?
Yeah.
And build on that strength. Look at what your customers are buying from you today and see if you can enhance that portfolio. And then your focus in what you need to look for becomes a little bit more, say, biteable. It becomes little chunks. And then you can start looking at materials, substrates. I would like to print on textiles, or I would like to print on metallics, or I want to try on this. What does my customer want? If I'm in a jewelry business, probably a lot of metallics and gold and silvers, and maybe not.
Yep.
But at least it gives you a directional way to go. Anytime you come to a show like Sign and Digital UK or any other sign show or graphic show, my recommendation would look at the website, check out all the people on basis of applications, and then make a short list for yourself. Where if you do a one-day show, take 5 or 6 short lists at 1 in the morning, and in the afternoon go exploring.
Okay. All right.
Take it like a zoo. It sounds strange, but take it like a zoo. Everybody likes to look at the tiger. We want to see the elephants and with the penguins. The rest of the afternoon, enjoy of the other animals that are out there. And there's lots of creative animals here. I think that gives you a better scope of how to move into this market.
Yeah.
It's not an easy market.
Well, I would agree, because about 10 years ago, many of the digital printing companies that I used to visit would all have somewhere in their premises a flatbed printer with a dust sheet over it. And I'd say, why did you buy a flatbed printer? You've never been in wide format before. And they'd say, well, the rep told us it would be good for us. So they didn't really do their homework on it. And those machines were then sold secondhand and, to somebody's good fortune elsewhere, So it's about applications, which is really what Brett was saying,
Absolutely.
isn't it, What do you at HP do in terms of, working with, new prospective customers? How do you, develop that interest?
I think that for us, it's crucial to look for new applications, new niche markets. So one of the things we've been developing in the last years is wallpaper,
Right.
Window blinds, sunshades, looking into totally new markets that are not out there. Sometimes industrial, sometimes very small. I think it's crucial for us as manufacturers to look at those new areas of gaming where we can say, oh, we have a white tabletop here. Would we like to decorate it? Is there somebody making that in the northern part of the UK? No. Hey, maybe there's a business model.
Yeah.
And by coming and bringing those applications as manufacturers in general, if it is Roland, Mimaki, HP, or anybody else, we need to supply those application ideas to the customers.
It's the ideas.
And it's the ideas would count.
Yeah.
I mean, once you can show something and bring some type of technology to the attention, to the mind, the customer will know and say, oh, wow, I have 3 customers can do this, and I have 1 guy that can do that. Maybe there is a business platform, and then he will move into it. I really don't believe that if you just go to a sign show and say, this is a great printer, it's versatile, it's great, it does everything what I think I can do, but he gets home and he doesn't have the customer base,
Yeah.
it's a waste of money.
Start
And
with
then
customer.
don't buy.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to start with what do I have as a customer base? What do my customers need? Make a business plan, then grow into this market. If not, you're going to have one of those printers sitting in the back collecting dust. And we are not happy for that. The customer is not happy for that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Brett, you've been around the industry for a very long time. You must have seen a lot of examples of that, really. Where people have bought machines before a need.
And I think there's really the answer to that is to work with a supplier that you trust. Whoever you choose, work with somebody that you trust, that actually is not a salesman wanting to make a sale. It's somebody that can give you ideas, give you the applications, be able to point you in the right direction for suppliers that work with and alongside to make it a success. Because you need to create the idea for the application for the end user to produce and to sell. And ultimately, it needs to be a success.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it really, from my perspective, you both work for companies that have the same technologies, but just different ink technology. That really doesn't get in the way of application production, does it? So it really doesn't matter what the machine is. It's really about the materials that you're working with. Would you agree?
Well, I mean, I totally agree. And I think that the hammer is a tool.
Yeah.
And the printer is a tool. Some tools have a better benefit than others, and I don't want to get into that because it makes things complicated. But I do agree with Brett that the salesperson of the old days selling something is, in my opinion, outdated.
Yeah.
I think that the salesperson today is a business consultant. He is consulting with the customer in where his future is and where he needs to go. I think HP is very much in front of that line doing that today by having consultants, having technical consultants, even pre-sales with customers, with resellers. We understand that the reseller has a very important job to sell, but we also understand that we need, as a supplier, as a manufacturer, to come in and help him and to make sure that he can have that benefit of working with a big brand and get that consultancy to the customer. I talked to some customers today here on the show that moved from one platform to another platform, and it was the consultancy that made that difference. It wasn't the price, it wasn't the square meter price, but it was the benefits that they needed for their specific business that made the change, which was the application, and it was the ease of use of that specific application with that specific technology. And the only way you're going to get there is if that business consultant or that salesperson that is acting in that role is giving that correct information. Because at the end of the day, it will catch you. You know, this is the problem. In the old days, you could sell something and, it happened. Today, that's not acceptable anymore. The ethics is crucial. The authenticity is crucial. You got to be honest with your customer. Then the customer will be honest with you. At the end of the day, you are a successful partnership. We've talked about partnerships many, many years in this industry. I think it's finally starting to get there that partnerships are the crucial part, the component that was missing between all the hardware suppliers, inks, substrates, and all the other stuff that's there.
Yeah, I tend to think that the manufacturers, and I'm not just talking about your own companies, but all of the wide format manufacturers have ignored for many years the materials manufacturers and have not perhaps done enough to work with them, because now I'm seeing so many applications and so many new products and new things that you can do with the same printer, that almost the materials are sort of eclipsing you guys now, and the materials manufacturers are becoming the more sexy thing. Would you agree, Brett?
Yeah, I think that there's been technology races. I think we've seen that over the last 15 years, we've seen the machine technology, we've seen the ink technology, and I think now what we've got is the film technology, and what we've seen is the film, the PVC film, the polyester film. We've seen development in polymetric hybrid casts and things. We've seen different things that Mike talked about, blinds, etc. Now where actually coatings are being put onto different fabrics that allow then different types of ink, whether that be latex, whether it be UV or solvent, and that combination now where actually we've got the media manufacturers are actually driving the applications because of the technology that they're producing that actually go hand in hand with the printer.
Yeah. In terms of applications, I mean, interior decor is something that Brett touched on earlier, Mike, and wall decor has become fast moving now. That's a bit more of a B2C type thing, unless you're doing the kind of corporate and hospitality.
I think there's two sides of wall decorations happening. You have the B2B, which is really big manufacturers selling smaller batches to the resellers that are selling it, or the interior decorators and selling it. At the same time, you have the bigger manufacturers selling their collections. I wanted to get back to the earlier point, if you don't mind, for a second, about medias and supplies.
Right.
HP has been supplying medias all the way from the beginning that we started our business in the DesignYet business, but we always kept it into a very small area because we didn't want to interfere with our partners when it comes to media suppliers. What is quite interesting to know is that we are all from a certain age, and let me be the one that says I'm the oldest one, but the new millenniums, the younger generations are looking at our industry totally different. They're looking at wallpaper very differently. They're looking at our industry totally different. They don't buy from a sign shop. They buy from a website. So HP has been developing a lot of the technologies like wall art, signage art, which are free technologies where web to print is free for people using an HP technology printer. These are the things that need to go. The app that tells you my printer is still printing when I'm sitting at home watching telly. Those are the things that we believe are going to change and revolutionize the industry, because we have to reinvent ourselves. If we don't reinvent ourselves today, we will be overhauled by other technologies. The younger generations, my daughters, will sit in the same house, and this will be probably very familiar to everybody at home. They will app me telling me that they will come late for dinner, and they're 2 floors up.
Yeah.
It's painful.
No. I've got
I have
teenage
2 of
kids.
them.
Yeah.
But we need to cater to them, because they are the future buyers.
Yeah.
And if we don't cater to them today, we will miss the train. And I think this is crucial for us as manufacturers. Also, when you're walking around the sign shop and you want to do a business like that, think already in the way they think. Think about setting up a website where you're doing web to print in some kind of fashion where they can already see their room and wall decorated and doing that. So when it comes to wall decorations, where you used to go to a wall decoration shop and spend hours looking through books until you had a design that you like, now you can design something or buy a design online and use it. Now, please, one thing, and I'm just being very careful with this because I might offend somebody, don't put your holiday pictures on a big wall that you took from your iPhone. The quality will not be there. Although a lot of people say, but it looks great on my iPhone. You know, hey, wow, man, cool. I understand it looks great, and it was a great holiday. I hope you enjoyed it. But please, don't put it on your wall.
I know. You really do need to work with a specific file size, don't you? I mean, in researching surface graphics for the Sign and Digital Explained series, I came across a sign maker that has built a B2C website that has, he linked it with Adobe stock images. Okay, so he got a partnership agreement with Adobe Stock, and has set up a wall mural business where they will allow the customer to come in, browse from over 5,000 images, select the one you want. If there's not one that you fancy, you can upload your own image, and they show you and walk you through how to do that. And then there's a checkout process. They'll deliver the prints to you, and then you'll either fit them yourselves or perhaps get a decorator in. What a piece of genius thinking that is, you know?
I mean, it's even going further. In Dubai, there is a company that was printing wallpaper, and they now offer this wallpaper, including installation.
Oh, really?
So you basically make your own wallpaper. You say, this is my room, and they print it, and they make an appointment. They install it for you, and they leave. I think it's a future business, because if you think about only the printing side of our business, you're losing out.
Yeah, exactly. Print
So
is
if you
print.
can print and accommodate the mounting at the same time, I think you have a very nice combination of business. Plus, you are in control of the whole process end to end. And I think that customers today really appreciate you being in control end to end. They know who to talk to when it falls off the wall.
From a smaller sign maker's perspective, moving into something like wall graphics, for example, is quite easy, isn't it? I mean, to produce, but it's the fitting that is a problem. I mean, Brett, you know, what would you advise them to do in a case like that?
Well, there's a number of different ways. I think, first of all, there's the digital wallpapers now. Come some that are pre-pasted. There's some that you paste. There's some that are self-adhesive. There's different wallpapers with different adhesive technologies, so shall we say, that can make it quick and easier. For the smaller ones, where actually they don't want to go and fit it themselves, then we talked about partnerships. Partnering up with a painter and decorator actually to go and do it is a quick and easy solution.
But not obvious. When you're a printing company, you don't think about painter and decorators. Do you?
Because probably we fall into the trap of thinking of digital print and vinyl, and now we're moving it on in a different direction. It's still digital print. We're just using it differently. So that partnership now is in the same way that we partner with the image providers, partner with a fitter and the local painter and decorator, because equally you'll get referrals back. So when he's doing his business and he's decorating someone's lounge, he will make the recommendation back the other way, and the business will grow.
One of the things that fascinates me about the vehicle graphics market, for example, is that you've got guys that are specialising in printing for full wraps and so forth, and they're appealing to the B2C, the guys that want to come in and have their really expensive car totally personalised, and yet they don't seem to ever offer other services to car consumers. They don't say, oh, by the way, we can bling your house, let us in and we'll provide the service from the car to the home. And I've yet to find a company that is offering anything like that. And I keep thinking, what's up with vehicle wrappers? Why are they missing a trick? Have you got any examples of that, Mike? Anybody that has managed to diversify in such a way? Because it's an obvious path, isn't it? If you're a customer and you've got enough drive to want to have something personalised to you, such as your £30,000 car, then I'm sure you're going to have like a £500,000 house that you would like to do as well. I've not seen it.
No, I don't see it either. And I do understand why. It really is two different types of worlds, in my opinion. The car wrapper in general, especially ones that are making full car wraps and doing design and making it fancy, or even just wrapping in one different color, which is also possible without even the digital print. And a decoration person or an interior decorator is really two different types of businesses.
Okay.
And I think the interior decoration market relies very much on also the interior decorator.
Right.
Which is giving advice on which furniture, which flooring, which lamps, and where the car wrapper will probably be able to wrap your kitchen perfectly and give you an awesome look. But is that what you want?
Right.
Because the interior decoration, the kitchen won't fit with the rest of the house or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think they're two different markets. They won't overlap. Will a car wrapper be able to wrap boats, airplanes, and other things? Absolutely.
Right.
But it's the same saying, will a decorator will be able to wrap a car? No.
So it's your more lifestyle type accoutrements.
I think they're different businesses, and we have to be realistic that although I agree a big part with Brett when it comes to one-stop shop, when you're from the commercial printing side, to add a wide format printing or flatbed printing to that area, I think you're totally right. There is a big opportunity because it's the same customer, it's a POS customer or a retail customer, so it's an addition to. But in a lot of the signage mom and pop shops, the smaller sign shops don't have that capital, first of all. So they need to specialize and become the best in that area.
Right.
And if they do that, they'll be successful. Once they start diversifying and going everywhere, and it becomes out of focus, I think it will become out of control. At the end of the day, he's not going to make it.
Okay. Right.
That would be my personal opinion. I'm not sure what you think about it, Brett, but
I think it works both ways. I think that diversification, we talk about commercial print, cut sheet digital going in. There's a guy in the audience who went the other way, who's been a sign maker for 30 years and went into cut sheet digital.
Yeah.
He went
have great indigo products.
He went in the other direction.
Yeah.
So I think it works both ways. But equally, having said that, without kind of contradicting myself, having specialist shops, you see the specialist car wrappers, they are specialists in it of what they do, but I think that there's an area for both. I think you'll have specialists in certain area, and then you'll have the generalists as well.
Okay. I want to ask you guys about soft signage, because I keep hearing that term all the time. I understand it's textile. But why, if, for example, I've got a printing business, and why would I even be thinking about some form of fabric to print upon? In terms of signage. Well, what are the benefits of that? Why would I do it? Let's start with you, please, Mike.
I think the biggest benefit for textiles is the ease of application.
Right.
Transportation. You fold it, put it in a box, send it away.
Yeah.
And the local shop owner is able to install it once you have sewn the stuff around. And even the SEG, what they call it, the silicon edge graphic, is something which is very standard today. We see now frames, aluminum frames appearing into the market where you don't need that at all. You're basically stuck in the textile by yourself, by hand, with a credit card if you want to.
Okay.
As simple as that. And that makes it easy. But as you said very well, this is soft signage. It's not textile.
Yeah.
It's printed on a fabric, yes.
Right.
But it's
okay.
not textile.
Ah.
I think that textile is a shirt like this. It's the inside of the different color of my shirt. That's textile.
Right.
When I'm looking at sportswear, that's textile. When you talk soft signage, you're talking something which is going into the retail market. There is a little bit of commercial, B2C when it comes to framing small frames or canvases and so, which is also a textile. And I think there's an opportunity. When you're talking to a small sign maker, it becomes a little bit more difficult, his choices he has to make. Because if he wants to print on a textile for soft signage, he has to reckon that some technologies are not going to be sufficient.
Right.
And some technologies need a lot of extra process. If you look at dye sublimation, for example, it is a process where you print, let's say on fabric, let's say on paper, and then you have to go to a calender, to a heat press to finish the process, which means additional kit.
And that's work as well.
Then you have the possibilities to print on fabrics directly, for example, with latex or UV, which you don't need the fabrication of all this extra kit in your house, which keeps it simple, but there's also some disadvantages. Washability, cracking of inks, for example, with UV technologies, etc. So the trade-offs are serious to be considered what you want to do, where you want to play, and how much do you play in that market.
Right.
If you play a little bit in the market, I think UV technologies and latex technologies are more than enough for you.
Right.
If you really want to invest big into this market, then you're probably going to something like dye sub.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a complicated business.
You've got on the hybrid stand this, you mentioned it earlier, it's this textile workshop or clinic?
Yeah, which is dye sub, as Mike talked about. So it's step by step through.
Right,
on
okay. So the whole purpose of that is to start to guide, people and just to showcase it and to show what can be done with soft signage, yeah?
And to demystify it. And
well that's the key.
And Mike's right. There's textile, there's soft signage, and the other thing that there is promotional stuff, giveaways and branding and promotional and giftware, where a lot of dye sublimation is used as well.
Right.
And again, we get back to the difference of being a specialist and a generalist. So you pick the technology that does most of what your business is outputting. So you can buy a UV, you can buy a latex, you can go onto fabrics, you can do soft signage. That's great. You can go into dye sub, still do the soft signage. Then you can do promotional giveaway products as well. If you want to take the step more then into sportswear and textiles, then it's all possible with the same machine.
Right.
So again, it's about deciding what is your business and where you want to be, as Mike said at the very beginning of Mike's conversation.
You've both talked about sort of personalisation of products and these sorts of things. Mm-hmm. I talk to a lot of printing companies and I'm kind of surprised that they don't have the tools in place to be able to do this, such as web to print and things. And if you're going to start working on personalised products, you need the internet, don't you? I mean, you were on a panel today talking about how the internet of things is going to change the way the industry's forward. What's your feeling about printers and the need to kind of get a bit more connected as we move forward?
Well, like I said earlier, I think if you want to cater to today's market and not to the old guys sitting on the chairs, I think you need to go internet. You need to have an application on the internet that is facilitating easy print access. Without that, long term, you will have a problem with your business.
Right.
Because the customer is going to sit at the home looking at what he wants to buy. The big difference here is that when he buys something at Zalando and he doesn't like it, he sends it back.
Yeah.
In our industry, that
There's
doesn't go.
Second chances.
This is it. You buy it and you take it. I mean, nobody else wants to have my wife in their living room. I love her, but you guys won't. I understand. So there is a difference there. But I think web to print is becoming a crucial part of our business. I think what Mimaki is doing, for example, with the Internet of Things is very good. What HP, for example, has done on Indigo is a product which we call Mosaic, which is one image. But then this image gets transformed automatically in millions of different images. And we've used that technology in Coca-Cola, in Heineken. We did a very big campaign for Nutella, Europe-wide, which every single package of Nutella was different.
All right.
And it's unique.
Excellent.
This technology is demanding growth. And the funny thing is, who would think about it, but 30% more sales of Nutella just because the wrap is unique. Just because your name is on it. Just because those things. So the personalization does generate more business. It just generates more revenue. And it makes customers make choices that you would not expect before. So from an Indigo point of view, where you can do really the mass production, and it's not very, similar to our business, but it will trickle down.
Yeah.
What we're doing with Coca-Cola and those kind of big brands will come down to the high street, where the local baker is going to say, I would like to make a package for all the football teams in a local town because it's Christmas or whatever. Those are the first trickling down, and it will become big. So I think it's going to be bigger than people expect today. I think that in the long term, you will buy everything pretty much personalized to your needs.
Okay. Brett, I want to ask you this, because, you've got your finger on the pulse of your customer base. Do you see many sign and display companies actually, using web to print in any way?
I know. I think
should we do more of it?
certainly we should do more of it. We should do more of it. And I think that also we're beginning to see the acceptance of connectivity.
Yeah.
And we talked about that Mike's daughter's 2 floors up, texting Mike to say they're going to be 10 minutes late for dinner. The millenniums now are the buyers, and they will not go into a shop and buy in traditional method. They will buy from their iPad, from the phone, and that's the important bit. So the demand is there. We've talked about personalisation and mass customisation, but then the getting it from the buyer, from the demand to output, needs that bit in the middle.
Right.
And it's available, but it's not being utilised. It's not there in everyday use yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I think people think it's complicated.
Well, it is complicated
no, it's
as
not.
far as I'm concerned.
But the thing is, there's so many tools out there, and they really research it, but there's so many tools out there. Some of them are even free, that where you can set up a full web shop today,
Yeah.
totally for free. It doesn't cost you anything. There's a lot in the public domain. Maybe it's not as scalable as you would like to have it in many years, but hey, make a profit today and scale it up while you're there. There's opportunities.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about with somebody who's coming into the industry.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to start, and to do it with low investment, to pick up and take it from the public domain and use what they can. And as the business grows, then they can buy something that's more scalable.
Fantastic. Now, is there anybody that has any questions for our guests while they're here? If not, well, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much,
appreciate your
Colin.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brett.
Yeah.